Welcome to the KIC booth here at SMT AI. Delighted to be joined by my old friend MB Allen. Great to see you, MB.
Nice to see you, Trevor. Thank you for being here at our booth.
Right. So we're going to talk today about a new product you've got. That's the KIC SRA, which stands for Smart Reflow Analyzer. What is smart about it?
Well, it's very different. Normally, from our perspective, we like to think of checking your ovens. We use our automatic systems to give you information on a continuous basis by product. But the market has told us that they would like a device or a fixture to be able to do a periodic check. So this is more of an oven check than a process check like we do with our automatic systems. And what this allows you to do is create a profile, a standard profile, whatever you would normally use, and use that same profile, run it through, get some data, and then now you could run it again periodically. And then we have SPC charts so that you could see any changes over time. And what we did with this fixture was a little bit unique because we also included some sensors. The profiler itself, or the data collection part of it itself, is built in.
Right.
So the sensors are here, and what that will do is give you an accurate belt speed. Because they're upward-looking sensors, they're seeing changes throughout. So throughout the entire process, we're looking at what that belt speed is. So we give you some good information there. We also are able to output heat transfer index, the number for that, so at least you know good or bad. And this is our first generation. We have a new generation coming out, and that one we've made some changes to our apertures here, and we have customers that are asked to check their ovens periodically for auditing purposes.
Yeah.
And they would really like to see more data that is relevant to the zone set points. And so with our changes, you'll have that data. It's also used when customers are looking at buying off an oven. They want to see the efficiency of the oven. So we're giving that data, and of course we have the weighted TCs.
What are these? I mean, you get different sensors here.
So these are weighted so that you have mass to them. So that would help you to see the heat more closely to the product. Okay, these are very.
It measures the ambient heat in the oven.
It's very consistent temperature readings. There's a consistent mass to it, so that when you run it again and again and again, you're able to compare that from the prior run to the next run. So that you could see if there's any changes. So these we call these mass TCs because these are the documentation that you'll be able to see. Was there any changes on this side of the oven where this mass TC may have different readings? Was the airflow changed? Where these are giving you the correlation specifically to, I set my zone point at this point, this is what the air is supposed to be, and that's what we're seeing.
So these sensors here are specific to air. Okay.
So that's your balance, your air TC versus your mass TC.
So how often would you cycle this through the oven? I mean, how often would you run it?
That varies tremendously on the customer. It varies on also, they've written their ISO standards, and so they may have standards to do an oven check every so often. Some customers will use it weekly. Some customers will use it monthly. In some cases, especially now in the U.S., we have a lot of high reliability products, high volume, low volume, high mix. They may use this periodically even throughout the day to make sure that there isn't a major change from when they ran one product to the next. It eliminates then, if I have a profile set, I don't necessarily have to thermocouple up a board, which is so time consuming, to check to see if there's any changes during the day. Obviously the optimum would be to have an automatic system like we sell, because then you get the continuous information. But certainly at a less expensive price, you have the opportunity of doing a periodic check.
So how do you extract the data from the unit? Do you wait till it comes through and then attach it to something, or?
Actually, this unit is very similar to our profiler, so it can be either a data logger, as you see it now, in which case then you would just connect your USB here right into the software. Right. Or If you would like, we also have the receiver, our new receiver that goes with our new profiler. And you could use that, and then the data is transmitted in real time to the computer, so you'd actually see it as it's going on.
Wow. Okay.
And then built-in SPC charts so that you can track and see the changes over time. There's several other features and a lot of information that you can get out of this, but for the very simple, let me just make sure everything's okay.
Right.
It's great, and if you are a very analytical person and you want significantly more details, there's a lot more that we built into the software for this fixture.
So you would run this as you're setting up your oven, and then you would obviously run your separate profiler for the to create the profile for them for the PCB. Would you correlate the data between the two? No, not in any way. I mean, you wouldn't set up the profile for the PCB based on what the levels were coming off the oven.
No, absolutely not. Two completely different types of information. It's very, and people don't realize this. Very often we hear that people will set up their PCB on a bare PCB without the components on it. And that doesn't give you part information. It doesn't give you all those changes with the different masks that you have across the board.
Right.
Same with this. This is one bit of information. Right? But to answer the first part of your question, you could run a profile and set up that profile, right? And you could use that same profile to run this through. You're going to get different information, but you don't have to start changing the oven, right? And then that could become your baseline for this and use that each time. Especially if you don't have a lot of changeover, that would be a perfect way of doing it. But the opposite direction, set up my profile first and then use this.
Great. Okay, well, MB, thank you for showing us the KIC SRA today, and we look forward to seeing the next version when it's ready.
We're very pleased with it.
Okay.
Thanks, Trevor. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.